Dr. Baijnath, thank you so much for being here with me. I really appreciate you carving time out of your busy schedule. I know you have a lot going on, so thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here, Nicole. I'm so honored that you asked me to speak.
Well, for those of you who don't know Dr. Baijnath, she's a board-certified internist with a specialty in integrative medicine. And with that, she possesses various certifications and coursework in medical marijuana, hormone replacement therapy, Ayurveda, nutritional health. I mean, she's got the full meal deal. She's done both private and public practice in the past, but right now she runs her own private practice, and it's a holistic program that incorporates both Eastern and Western medicine, and that includes acupuncture, cannabis, hydrotherapy, and life coaching. And so she does specialize in gut health, which is what we're all seeking right now, and what we're all working on right now. She's located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, with her 2 pets, and she practices yoga and meditation. So she's got that connection, that gut-brain axis dialed in. So Dr. Joan, or Dr. Baijnath, do you want to tell us a little bit about your practice and how gut health fits into the equation?
Oh, absolutely. So my practice is it's really based on the philosophy that the body is not separate from the mind and the spirit. They're intimately connected, and as such, they should be treated as a whole instead of compartmentalized. With that said, we know that a healthy gut is the foundation for good health. To quote Hippocrates, all disease starts in the gut. And I share those sentiments. So when I work with a patient in my practice, the first thing that we work on is gut health. Daily bowel movements are very important to remove toxins and to maintain a healthy gut flora. So that's how my practice ties into to what we're talking about.
Awesome.
So
it's a perfect fit.
Thing we work on.
I love what you said, that you look at the body and spirit as a whole, because when it comes to health, it's more than just physical appearance, right? It's mental, it's spiritual, it's emotional, it's all encompassing. So to look at that as a whole, I just love that.
Oh yeah.
So our viewers are going through a 30-day gut reboot, as you know, and we're focusing on really small lifestyle changes that support a healthy gut. So small things that add up in a big way, like consuming whole foods, supplementing with probiotics and enzymes, and of course algae, exercising, and things like that. So I know that you work a lot with your patients on their gut, and that you are actually gearing up to, or you have started small groups where you focus on things like this. So what would be the most important advice that you would give to a group of people like this?
Okay. So the most important thing I think we need is hope, right? So my advice, this is a journey. This really is a journey that your clients are going through, or your viewers, and it isn't easy. No. So the message I would want to get out there is that this body is, just to remember that this body is designed to heal itself. So I would start asking questions. Why are we not healing? Why so many chronic diseases? Why so many medication? This is such a sophisticated machine that we have. And if you remove the toxins and you give it the proper nutrients, it should heal. And when I talk about toxins, I'm talking about all the toxins, our thoughts, our food, our behaviors, our lifestyle, like the emotions, the foods, they're all part of the things that we put into our body. And so I know that most of us take better care of our cars than we do of our body. But it's a journey. And once we start thinking for ourselves and reclaim our power to know that we are capable of healing, And I find in Western medicine, we tend to give our power away to the doctors to say, heal me. And they write a prescription and we say, okay, and we don't ask questions. What I try to do is to empower my patients that take responsibility for your health. And, go out there, and if you believe you're going to heal yourself, you're going to heal yourself. But you have to take actions too. It's not just, I believe it is going to happen. I have to put a plan in place. So what I want to offer is hope for someone suffering with whatever symptoms they're suffering, is that there is hope that they can heal and they can have a vibrant, healthy life. So that's
That's beautiful. I love it. Hope. So that wouldn't be the first thing that crosses my mind. So I love that you said that. Hope and empowerment, because you're so right. In Western medicine, we're so quick to say, oh, well, I have this, the doctor, what do I do?
right.
And to take that control back is so empowering. And it does drive, it inspires hope. That was beautifully put. So
thank you. I believe it. I really, I live it.
And what a healthier society would be if we all adopted a perspective like that and took our power back, right?
Yes, and I feel like I'm a teacher, and that is part of my gift, is to offer that to the world, is to teach that. If that's the only message that I can get through in this lifetime, then I've done my job.
I think that's a darn good message. I'm gonna have to borrow it from time to time. There's hope. I love it. So you speak a lot about mindfulness, right? I've heard you say it a few times, and we've had one conversation in the past, and you brought up mindfulness, and I've seen it on your website and things like that. So let's talk about the mind and the gut, because there's a strong connection between the two. So can you tell us a little bit about the gut-brain axis and how one's mind and mindful awareness has an impact on our gut health?
Okay, all right. So that's a complex topic, right? So the gut-brain axis is very complicated, but I'll try to simplify it for our viewers. So to define the gut-brain axis, it would be, the gut-brain axis is the way the brain and the gut communicates in a bidirectional way. So we all know how the brain works. It's a neural network. The brain is a neural network of over 100 trillion neurons. And it communicates with the rest of the body via nerves and neurotransmitters. The gut, what it isn't common knowledge, is that the gut has it also has its own enteric nervous system. And it has over 100 million neurons, and we call that the enteric nervous system. And it produces so many of the same neurotransmitters that the brain produces, such as acetylcholine, serotonin, dopamine, and things like that. So also the gut is connected directly to the brain via the vagus nerve. So that's a direct communication. And then the hormones and neurotransmitters and cytokines produced by the enteric nervous system communicates in a biochemical fashion. So there's different modalities. And they communicate, so the gut communicates with the brain, but the brain also communicates with the gut. So now, to understand the importance of that, we also have to talk about the microbiome. The human microbiome, the bacteria in our guts, these bacteria produce a lot of the neurotransmitters we talk about, such as dopamine, serotonin, and it also produces other things like fatty acids, short-chain fatty acids, and vitamins. So these bacteria, there's 10 times more bacterial cells in our body than human cells. So we are 10 times, 90% of us is bacteria, 10% human. So we can understand the importance of a healthy microbiome that produces neurotransmitters and cytokines and vitamins and such. And these communicate with the brain. So when we talk about gut health, we talk about how we talk about the importance of the microbiome. And so if the brain, if these neurotransmitters from the gut can influence the brain, so can the neurotransmitters from the brain influence the gut. Because like serotonin, for instance, is our feel-good hormone. If we are depressed, like say your mood, if you're depressed, that is going to influence your gut, and it may show up in a depressed functioning of your gut in the form of constipation. If you're anxious and you're producing too much serotonin, it might show up in the form of diarrhea, right? So we can see the connection of how the mind is affecting the gut, but also if we're not producing enough of those hormones in the gut, it can cause a depression or an anxiety. I mean, I hope you can understand the power that these two play. So we have the first brain, and the gut microbiome is considered our second brain. And these two are in an infinite relationship with each other, feeding back and forth in an infinite way. I just think it's beautiful how it works.
Isn't that
so we have to be aware of how our thoughts affect, and our mood will affect our gut, and how our gut can affect our mood. Did I answer your question?
Absolutely. What I heard you say was basically a healthy gut affects a healthy brain, and a healthy brain affects a healthy gut, and vice versa. So whether it's healthy or unhealthy, they're continuously affecting one another. Is that?
Exactly. Yes. Okay. So I like the way you summarized it, because there's so much information in my brain. Sometimes it's hard to condense it. But let's take that one step further with our microbiome. So we've proved that the microbiome is important, right? A healthy microbiome balance is important. Let's take it one step further. How the food that we eat affects the microbiome, the composition of the microbes in our gut. And now that affects what they produce. And then that affects our enteric nervous system, which affects our brain. Right? So
Isn't that so? The foods we're putting in our body, which is, I guess we could go back to the whole reason we're consuming whole foods, right? The foods we're putting in our body are ultimately affecting our brain and how we feel.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I think you just went straight up, right? The food to the brain. But essentially, that's what we're saying, because that's what I'm saying is the foods are going to determine what flora we have and how healthy it is. So if we're eating a lot of sugars, for instance, we're going to be producing more yeast. The yeast feeds on sugar. So we're going to go out of balance, or our flora is going to go out of balance, so we're going to produce more yeast. And those yeast will start craving more sugar. And that's a little feedback loop on its own. So sometimes you're not the one craving sugar. It's your microbiome craving sugar.
Oh my gosh. So you're saying every night when I want to eat ice cream, it's not me, it's the little monsters in my gut.
Exactly. So that's how I tell myself, oh, that's not me. So I'm not feeding those bacteria. I'm not feeding those yeast cells. I'm not feeding those unhealthy bacteria.
Right.
But when we clean up our bodies by eating whole foods and vegetables and taking the right supplements, you'll notice that those cravings disappear, because you're now suppressing the yeast back into its right proportion. And now your body craves what it actually needs, not what the bacteria need.
Isn't that amazing?
So part of what you're doing, I think, is so amazing. I say in my practice, health is simple, but it isn't easy. Because what you're doing is telling people what we should all know is eat healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You have to exercise, and you have to manage your emotions. And then you're going to be in balance, and everything's going to work well.
Right.
So cool what you're doing. My part, I think what I'm doing is trying to people to get to understand the physiology of what you're doing.
Yeah, so we can, because it's so, I say we're trying to bring the benefits to life, because I can't see inside my gut. I don't know what's going on, but I know that doing these things are good for me. So speaking to you and people who really have an understanding of what happens on the inside, helps us further acknowledge and understand why we need to do these things, even though we might not feel a difference right away. Just knowing that it's contributing to a better quality of life in general.
Yeah, and for me, I'm a scientist. So if you tell me to do something, I probably won't do it. I have to know why I'm doing this and why is it beneficial. And once I understand the importance of it and the logics of it, it's easier for me to incorporate it.
Right.
And so I think, for your viewers out there, maybe this is helpful to understand this balance, this beautiful machine that we have, and that we need to take care of it because we only have one of these this lifetime.
Only one.
And we all want to age, in a healthy, with good quality of life.
Right. Gracefully. And I mean,
yes. And be able to, when you're 100, to do all the things that you want to do. And that's possible. We look at the supercentenarians and, they're 90, they're 100 plus, and they're very active, they're social and all of that. So we know it's possible. Why isn't it, not possible for me?
Exactly.
Right.
And hopefully through things like this, we can make that more common.
Yes, education is to let people know that we're all capable of that. But the choices we make today are going to determine who we are 10 years from now, who we are at 60, at 90, at 100. Mm-hmm. But it starts today.
Every day.
Right, every day.
Oh, thank you. You put that together so beautifully. It's really nice to be able to visualize that connection and see how things are working. So we had a brief chance to speak prior to this interview, and you were telling me about the power of essentials and the impact that it's had on some of the patients that you've worked with. So can you tell me a little bit about that and why you believe essentials is such a powerful ingredient in the recipe for great health?
Okay. All right. So I've been using essentials for a while now, and I love it. So let's go back to the beginning where I said the gut is the foundation. A healthy gut is a foundation for good health, right? So what I love about essentials is you have your multivitamin, your multimineral, you have your fatty acids, and you have your digestive enzymes and probiotics, all in a convenient dose pack, right? And so the way my mind imagines this is you have your enzymes that are digesting any sort of undigested food that's kind of sticking to the gut lining. And then you have your removing those toxins. And then you have your probiotics rebuilding a healthy gut flora. And then by doing so, you're decreasing the inflammation in the gut wall and you're allowing for better absorption of nutrients. Now, prior to finding essentials, I was prescribing the same, recommending the same regimen, but they were coming individually, right? And it was expensive. I found that it was maybe twice as much to get them separately as it is, to do your dose packs. And so what I like about essentials is that it's convenient, not only is it a great supplement, but it's also plant-based, it's sustainable, and it's affordable. And I use it as part of my daily regimen, and I love it. What I see with my patients that have been using it, within a week of being on the essential packs, they start to have normal bowel movements, like daily bowel movements. And then we start having improvement in energy and in brain fog. Like they say, oh, my brain fog is lifted. I have more energy, I have more focus. And a lot of indigestion and things like that have improved. So this GI discomforts have improved. So I really stand by the essentials. I will highly recommend it.
That's amazing. I like how you put that together as you visualize the enzymes coming in and kind of cleaning things up, and then the probiotics coming in and kind of reseeding it. I had the picture of like someone coming in and pulling weeds out of a garden and like planting flowers. And so, and then as you went on to say, you know, as your clients are even as short as a week taking these products up there, kind of experiencing just what we talked about, that gut-brain axis connection as they're supporting their gut, the fog is lifting and all of that. That's phenomenal. I'm glad to hear that that it's really working well for your clients, and that was just, again, beautifully put. So I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I want people to be able to connect with you later if they can reach out to you, if you would welcome that. Do you have any speaking or future, speaking or engagements that they could see either online, or if they're local in the Florida area, or if they wanted to reach out to you and connect with you, what would be the best way to go about doing that?
The best way, well, if they wanted to have an appointment with me, is to call the phone number. It's I think I sent that to you. Maybe
You did.
we can
I'll post it in the comments.
Yeah, to call our front desk, make an appointment. But I am speaking at the Women's Conference. It's an annual conference in Jupiter at the Jupiter Medical Center Foundation. They hold the annual women's conference on March 4th, so I'll be speaking there. And as far as our office, I'm starting to do more small groups, and we're starting that in April. I don't have a schedule yet, but they can email the office, and we'll let them know when small groups are starting. And, personal appointments, they can call the front desk.
What about your website? I don't think I ever told anyone what your practice is called.
Oh, it's MD Cares. It's EMDECARES. So it's www.mdcares.com. And our email is frontdesk@mdcares. 561-513-9313 is our phone number. And I'm really glad you guys are on this journey. It's well worth it. I have been on this for the past 10 years, so I've walked this walk already.
For a very long time then. So I'm sure you've seen a lot in that time frame.
I have, and I've seen people get better. I've seen people come off of the most medication, 13 medication. One of my patients got off of 13 medication.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, 10, 13, So it's possible. I think the big thing for me tonight is the empower and hope. Those are the two words that come to mind for me.
I love it. I love it. Well, Dr. Baijnath, thank you so much for joining me tonight. For everyone watching, I'm going to drop her contact information in the comments. So if you want to reach out directly, she just invited you to. So thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and close this up, and I look forward to chatting with you soon.
Okay, thank you so much, Nicole. Have a wonderful evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.